All right. This is so special for me because I have not seen Fumi Eguchi in so long. He actually did a photo shoot for our team many years ago. In fact, Fumi, it's so funny. We had all those pictures put on our admissions car for one of our schools, and we just recently took them off because they had faded. So that's how long it's been. So we need to have you back. We need to do a photo shoot again. And I'm so excited for all of you to meet Fumi. Definitely, if you're listening to this podcast, you want to listen to the entire podcast. So go to our YouTube channel, Next Level Salon Leadership, so that you can watch the entire episode. But Fumi is the creative director of Lunatic Fringe Salons, which, by the way, are my all-time favorite salons that I just absolutely love the owners, Angie and Sean, incredible people. I've known them for years. They're also Paul Mitchell School owners as well, too. And you've been with them 10 to 11 years. You're an award-winning hairdresser and photographer, and you led that team, Lunatic Fringe, to 2 consecutive NAHA wins. So I definitely want to talk about that as well, too. But Fumi, first of all, thanks for being on the podcast today.
Thank you, Tina. It is my honor to be part of your podcast. And then I made a great relationship through the Paul Mitchell Network. And then it's been like my journey have flourished since I met you guys, being able to visit your school, meet your future professional, being able to share my story. So it is my honor to be a part of your podcast.
I love this so much, and we need to have you back for sure. Give us a brief story, your story, because I know you're a hairdresser originally from Japan. And so tell us a little bit of your story and how you got to where you are today.
All right. So I do this always in behind a chair every time when a new guest comes in. It's like, hey, how do you become a hairdresser? Long story short, I was born and raised in Japan. I was pursuing to becoming a professional soccer player, but then the society of the Japan, and then I played it for so long, I just needed the change, you know. Society had like much of the seniority ladder base, and then I felt like, oh my God, if I go to the college, like it's gonna be another seniority ladders. So I left the country based on watching the Full House. You know, I saw Uncle Jesse and the Stephanie doing the fist bumping. I'm like, I want that. You know, I want the no seniority ladders. I just want to kick it. So I left the country when I was 17. Came to the Seattle, and then spent a little bit of time in San Diego. Went back to Japan and graduated from the high school, and then decided to come back in the state. And I came to the Salt Lake City, Utah. The journey of the Salt Lake City, Utah was I had to go to the English as a second language school for 1 year. And then at the tail end of it, my advisor told me that, hey, you need to have 18 credits. So I flipped it through the catalog, and I was looking for any major that gives me an 18 credit without taking a math class. At the time, I didn't speak any English. And I didn't really read, I couldn't communicate, but I just knew that I didn't want to take a math. So I signed up to I signed up for barbering and a cosmetology. Not that I know, back then I had no idea what it was. And I walked into the first orientation class, and I looked at the couple of girls, and the more girls walked in, and I said, yep, this is where I'm gonna stay. And that was everything started from there. And of course, you know, there's a lot of hiccup. I was first time blow drying some girls' hair, and I swelled the girls' hair with the blow dryer. It was a big, huge accident in the cosmetology school. And I have left the foil too long. When I took the foils out, you know, I was like, where did the hair go? You know? So many times I wanted to quit, but I continued to pursue to become better myself. I challenged myself, and then I competed in the OMC hairdressing, like a hair world competition. My award, or like the placement, got recognized in the TG bedhead. And then I became an original educator for the bedhead, and then kind of ambassador, product educator. And then soon, 2002, I attended the TG World Hair Release, and then I fell in love with the culture. I dove into it, stayed with them for 4 or 5 years. And then after that, I left. I start cultivating a clientele behind the chair here in the Salt Lake City. around 2009, I have owned my own salon, and I have raised the money for the Breast Cancer Society for gathering a community within the Salt Lake City to pitch in their effort so that we can do something giving back within our communities. I have done that for 2 consecutive years, and I won NAHA. It was basically Sean and Angie asking me, hey, Fumi, would you want to try with our company? And then it's like, sure. And then I formed the team, and then I think it was a fluke, right? It was like the first try, and then we were able to win. And then second year, we were able to win again. And then since then, I came to your school and I was able to photograph your team's work. And then I have worked with the various different product manufacturers. And I've been to the Germany for the Schwarzkopf to create the marketing contents, and then the videograph, the education contents. And I've been going back to Japan back and forth due to the COVID. I was delayed for 2 years, but prior to that, I was going back to Japan pretty much like 6 weeks here in North America, 2 weeks in Japan, a week and a half in Germany. And I was just kind of going around in the world. And then now I'm back here, and it's been great. Like I was able to form a family here, and then my families are back from Japan. And then, yeah, that's kind of like a long story short. That's my background.
That is so amazing. I love this so much. So talk about you being the creative director. First of all, how many locations does Lunatic Fringe have? And are you the creative director for just your location or for all the locations? And what does that mean?
The creative director, Sean and Angie didn't really give me the job title of like what I supposed to do, that they just like, I trust you, and like a positive influence within our cultures. And so I took it as like, okay, I'm going to create the marketing collaterals for the company. And at the same time, I'm going to create the opportunities and create the growth within our company, which something that I felt like a creative director's job is like not necessarily creating an artistic thing. I thought it would be a great opportunity for me to have this, job that I create things with my team,
Mm-hmm.
And then so it's creating an opportunity to travel with the team, to go Miami, go to Chicago, go to New York, go to Japan, and creating a artistic photography that we can all share, that we did it together. And then I think while I was doing a NAHA entry, I learned it wasn't necessarily for to win. It was a lot of preparing it and the journey to get a goal with the team. That I enjoy that process so much more than winning it, because once you win, it's just the climax, right? It's like a dun, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, what's next?
Mm-hmm.
And then I think team environments, which is our mission statement in the Lunatic Fringe Salon, it's like, if you pursue a goal with the team, you can celebrate it together. And then that celebration, I won my own competition alone, and I got the trophy. And then I worked hard to that point, but when I got it, I just looked around, I'm like, thank God. But then the next day, everybody forgot that, everybody moved on,
Yeah.
But then when you win with the team, like, you believe in team cultures. So, when you win with the team, you can celebrate it with your colleagues, And then I thought there was a beauty in it, And that kind of feeds me that I want to do more. So I kind of teach or share that information to the people who I work with, whether it's young stylists that are working with us. Some of the stylists that we work in the salon, they're like 17, 18 years old. They go to the high school program, they graduate in 18, and then they just brand new. But because I came from the background of the seniority ladder, I just want to give them a hope, and I want to give them a tools, and then I want to create the opportunity for those young hairdressers to believe that our industry there's no other industry that people keep coming back to you because they want to come see you. And you could be a doctor, but doctor, you don't want your patient to keep coming back, you know?
Definitely not. Oh, there'd be something wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
This is so good. I'm so glad you talked about the team environment, and I would love for you to kind of like expand on that. And what have you seen over this last few years and then moving forward to go to the next level in the salon business? Because there's a very, very high percentage of salon stylists that are leaving the team environment and going into their own suite and working by themselves. And I think, you know, that warrants a conversation to have. What do you think is missing in that salon team environment that's causing people to want to leave the team to work, you know, solo, if you will? What's your thoughts?
I think a lot of people who leave the salon team environments, I think they gain this team environments and then they soak into this team environment that they like it. And then it's usually, I wouldn't say lack of the knowledge, but they feel financial gains are greater to independent in their own. But I don't know if you know the book, it's called E-Myth Revisited, you know, and then it's just the idea that a lot of people believe that, oh, like like this salon team environments allow me to cultivate the clientele. Now I can independent on my own. And then they kind of walk away from the salon environments as an employee, as an W-2 employees to go for self-employee. And there is the artistry of being in your own independent boss, but they try to learn as they pursue that, you know. And then I've seen a lot of people struggles, you know, because, oh my God, like I don't know how to go register my business license, or I don't know how to do the accounting, you know. So I think the people who leave the team environments, a lot of time people want to see their financial gain or the freedom with their own times. And then it's maybe those two things that kind of like, I want to have my own schedules, or I want to have my own financial control. And also when people leave, I think the people who leave, it's usually they want to have their own time, you know. And then working within the salon team, like in our salon, like the people gather together in the morning and then kind of talk about what their goals are in the morning, you know. So the people who stays with us, especially right now in our salon, we have a best team, a great culture. We were a little bit scared of after the COVID, what's going to happen. I think it brought it in. More people were missing like a human connections that is like we're pursuing a goal together. So I think we have a greatest team right now. We don't have any turnover in the stylists. So I feel like a lot of younger kids are looking for, it's like joining in a soccer team, you know. Let's go to the championship together, you know.
Yeah, and Lunatic Fringe is such a championship team. And talk to those salon owners, if you will, because I think this is really warrants a conversation as far as a team environment, especially you being a part of the education. Because one of the things I notice as a school owner, one of the things that's really lacking in salons, and this is one of the reasons why a lot of our students, our graduates will leave, is because the education program isn't very strong and the marketing's not very strong. That's, you know, showcasing their work, and you've been able to combat that in your position there. Kind of give some advice to salon owners where they could start with it and what they should do to really make that stronger.
Okay, I think the education is the key factor for like a salon team based, because you want to grow it together, and then you don't want to find the weakest link within the team. When you find that, don't point the finger at it. All the team has to give an effort to make that individual to get up to the speed to, like, you know, play the game together, you know. And then that requires a lot of educations, and then that's what we focus on heavily within the Lunatic Fringe. I know that Sean and Andrews are very heavily focused on to making a new hire to get up to the speed to understand the basically like the technical skills, which is the hair cutting and the coloring. And then second, like they really focus on how to build the business, like a client's retention, average ticket value, and they're always learning. It's like almost each new stylist that it's hired in a salon, like the manager will do the one-to-one bi-weekly to just kind of see their progress and monetize to see like you're growing really fast pace, and if they're growing slower, it's like you're growing, it's slower, but you're in a very steady pace that's continued. It's like having a coach, in the salon group, and the individual of each location has a great mentor that new hire can actually depend on and believe in on, and I think creating that bond is very important from the get-go, I think. And I think like Lunatic Fringe very finesse that to captivating them into wanting to work with us. And that since when they come in, they laid it out, say, this is going to be your journey within our salon, and this is how you're going to grow. And then if you monetize their growth, I think we all want to grow. We all want to be in the next level, right? And there's a next tier each step of their journey. We always said that it may not be right away, but it's up to you how fast you want to grow. And then based on that desire, we will try to give every tool we can possibly have. And that's the kind of one things that I always tell cosmetology students. You choose to step into the cosmetology school. You had the desire to want to become a hairdresser 1 month prior to entering yourself in school. You had a sleepless night, excited. You are so excited, you tell your boyfriend, girlfriend, grandma, grandpa, I'm gonna be a hairdresser. Some had to maybe convince their family, but they're excited when they step into the salon. It's cosmetology school. They expect the school to make you better. Like, does it make sense? Down the road, they kind of slowly drift away. It's like, oh, I have to go to the school. Oh, tomorrow I need to go to the school again. And then I always ask, what happened? Yeah. We didn't ask you to come. You wanted to come. There's so many tools, so many things that you can learn. But if you don't take initiative to ask, or if you don't act, you're not getting any better. Same things is what's going to happen in the salon. I always tell our coworker, if you're tired, go home and go to sleep.
Exactly. I love this so much. And, I really think education is, like you said, it's a key. Education is key. And for me, like when I start to feel stale or even tired, like you said, it's more education. I know I need to take more classes and really invest in myself. And that's why I think, Lunatic Fringe is as strong as it is because of your education factor and just the work that you put out there. It's what every hairdresser strives to be. Yeah. And so let's talk about that, because what I love about you've been a hairdresser for 2 decades. And there's a cycle. I call it a cycle that I think everyone needs to embrace. And I would love for you to talk about this. And it's called learn, unlearn, relearn. And you're so good at that. And I think a lot of stylists think that they've arrived and they're thinking, you know what, I'm really good at this type of hair. So instead of learning something new, I'm going to stay in this realm, or even learning something new about what you're doing in that realm, right? You were just talking about that. And then they'll just, go off and work in their own silo. And barely get any education at all because they're working 80 hours a week, to make ends meet, to pay the rent, work in their own silo. So can you talk about that, like how important it is? And I love the fact that you're always learning new things. And one of the questions you and I talked about is, you just asking yourself, what is hair?
Yeah. So as you said, like I've been hairdressing for over 2 decades, and then there's a time in my life that I love British influence and in the fashion and the hair. So when I was working for the TG, it was that like kind of punk rock, kind of avant-garde. It's just very like a younger people cater hairdressing that it appeals to kind of more fun. Hair is fun. And then I shatter the hair, like I texture the hair, and then I scrunch the hair, and then I had a great time, and I had a mentor of those hairdressers. And then you go to conventions, and then you see sassoons doing geometries, and then different contemporary art, and then it was the different art, and then I just all of a sudden was like, oh, and then start drawing to it, and then I'm like, I gotta take a sassoon class. And I went to the rabbit hole and I start cutting every client had the geometry line. Everybody who had the shaggy look turns into everybody had a bob. And then sooner or later, everybody's like, Fumi, like, I don't look good with the bob. No, I can make you look good with the bob, And then you go into the geometry and then you drift away because I can mix texture and the geometry together. And you started like forming into your own way of the hairdressing. And then you meet with the color artist, block coloring. I'm like, oh my God, so beautiful, block coloring. And then drifts away from the block coloring and then precise highlighting. And then you kind of continue like evolve, like it revolved, and then making your own niche of what works because your price range changes. And as I charge $215 a haircut and in the salon behind a chair, I don't have a young clientele anymore. I have a lot of people who wants to maintain. And then now I have to kind of cater. You have to start thinking of what is the customer service? Some of the people who's willing to pay $215, they puts the value on my service is $215. So I had to go reach out to the like St. Regis or like a Montage, those places that I go by myself or I go with my friend to go check it out. What is the difference for going to the business hotel and then the Marriott to go to Park City high-end hotel that charges you $500 a night? And as you drive up to the spot, they have someone always welcoming you, but they already know who you are, take your luggage. It's the service that has the value into it. And of course, your technical knowledge and then result does matter, but I realized in that certain tier of the people want to be treated and also result to be perfected. And then I felt like a haircut and a color, I can perfect it, but I add the actual customer service on top of it. What kind of effect would I get? And then I was like, oh my God, it works. Instead of working like 7 clients, 10 clients in a day, I can only do 3 clients in a day, and then I can make more money. But then when I start doing it during the COVID, I got questioned, what is hair? It's like, I've been working with this fabric that grows out of the human's head that we alter it to make a fashion out of it. And then all the fashion designer always study the fabrics. And I'm like, I probably should know much more scientific side of what is hair.
Yeah.
And my friend in Japan, they were like, no, this is the COVID is that like our like a playtime to think more in depth of the hair. And I'm like, I have no idea what you guys are talking about, but I stayed communicated with them. And then one of the guys simply asked, Fumi, do you know what's like human hair? Like, do you know human hair? And I'm like, I mean, hair that has like straight hair, curly hair, wavy hair. Like, it's like, yeah, but like, keep telling me more about it. I was like, I guess it has a cuticles. It has a follicles, hair grows from the head or body, It's like, yeah, keep going with it. And then I started going with it. And then I'm like, I don't know so much about it. I just know very surface of what I learned in cosmetology school. And then he told me that, Fumi, you're charging $215, but you only know this much about the hair. And then I'm like, yeah. And I was like, he goes, well, don't you think you can add more value to it if you know so much of more of the hair, because there's so many different types of the hair. And I'm like, yes, that will be awesome. And then he's like, well, you know, you buy products, you get the product knowledge, and then what? You know how to use the products, but how would you know if you don't know about the hair? If you have the products that it works on a particular type of the hair, it will give you the more in-depth of the knowledge how to use the product. And then I'm like, oh, that's kind of where my next chapter of my journey of the hairdressing, I need to start thinking of, like, for example, bleach they will use. And then my question was asked, was like, do you know what's the pH level on the bleach? And I was like, there's a pH level on the bleach? I don't know, it's like maybe 10. It's like, no, the most of the brand manufacturers are like anywhere around 11 to 12. And I'm like, why? It's like, well, the alkaline has to swell the cuticle, but inside of the medulla and the little tiny fiber inside of the medulla, the 85% in the core of the hair, there is another fiber inside. And that first, like, macro size of the fiber contains the melanin, which is the color. To extract that melanin out, you have to swell the cuticle and you have to swell the keratin or protein. But when you swell them, you lose the amino acids. They're holding the protein together, and then you let go of the protein out, and it creates the cavity within in the hair. That's what makes the hair to be compromised. And I'm like, I had no idea. I used to just mix the powder and then the hydrogen peroxide and then put it on the hair and just wait, you know? And he's like, no, there's so much more science to that. But if everybody knows, and if you can control those pH level, if you can control those amino acids to walk away, we can prevent hair from getting damaged. And I'm like,
huge.
And then I'm like, I want to go back to Japan. And so I just got back from Japan like a week ago, like learning what they use not to compromise the hair. And then I had to see with my eye, because I feel like bleach equal damaged hair. You can prevent it. There's a bit many products in North America, but these guys went really deep down into what is the hair. And then I'm like, okay, I want to work with this. And then it was just kind of game changer. Now I'm like really excited about it for the next chapter of my life. Okay, I'm going to bring this product in America. I'm going to let everybody to study the hair. And then you can customize the hair, like, products, so that you can call yourself a little bit more a professional, you know?
Oh, that's good. Wow. Yeah. And you know, you hit the nail on the head. Like, look at how excited you are. And so if you're a hairdresser or even a salon owner right now listening to this and you're thinking, I feel like I have no excitement left in me, this is the way to do it, through education. Like, really, again, learn, unlearn, relearn, do it again, learn, unlearn, relearn, and keep going. And that's why I always tell people there's no way I'm ever going to retire, because I'm in this cycle. I'm in this cycle. I'm gonna stay in this cycle because I just love what I do. So I'm always questioning. I'm questioning, why do leaders excel? Some excel and some don't. What do we need to do different? Like, we can't stay the same. And so I really want to dig a little bit deeper into your onboarding program, because you were talking a little bit with Sean and Angie with the new stylists. Let's talk about that, because you know, I believe that a team member can, you know, make or break during the onboarding program, if you will. And so this is kind of where you set the tone of the expectations that you have. And also, you know, one of the biggest things that I'm hearing, Fumi, is, and I don't know if you guys are struggling with this, but many salons are struggling with finding their next talent, you know, how to find their next stylist that would work with the team to continue to grow, you know, your salon business. So what is like your system, if you will, that you guys follow for your onboarding?
when you say onboarding is like someone who's coming into the art salon,
Right, yeah,
how
how long
we
is it?
recruit.
Yeah, yeah, how long do they train before they start taking clients and that?
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I think it varies, and then in each location has like a different manager, but they go through the same protocols, you know. I'm not in depth of like working with those like a specific topic, but what I see is like it comes from the Sean and Angie, right? They're the always continue learner. They put themselves in the front, and then every stylist sees that they are actually working really hard. They come in a salon, say hello to the stylist, you know, and then that kind of give us the kind of like a little bit of the buzz, you know, like the salon owner just even come step in the salon and check on us, like, how you doing? That he's sweeping the floor, like, you know, they're checking with the clients, they're, you know, like helping with it, and the stylist in the salon. That kind of gives like everybody to just like, all right, like I want to give it more. But how we get a new stylist in the salon, I think a lot of stylists comes in and check out our salon to see, like they're not really committed to come work with us. But when they come in to the salon, I think we try to treat them like, because someone said like, hey, I'm gonna come in and like shadow for like 1 hour, you know, that 1 hour, like we're busy, but we try to get their hands into do things with us instead of that person just standing in the corner.
yeah,
Like we try to ask them questions. Which school you've come from? Do you love cutting or calling? Like because I remember the first day when I walked into the hair salon, you're very vulnerable,
yeah,
you know, and then so how we can actually take advantage of that vulnerability and then switch them over to becoming more an excitement, you know. And then we try not to have those new like people to shadow to stay too long, because it's harder for them to drift away. So we usually tell them to come in for a short period of time and then give them a blast of, it's almost like putting like a very sour candy in your mouth, you know, boom.
yeah.
And then have them think, is that something what you want to do? You know, and then if they do the working interview. So,
Okay.
hey, let's stay like a little bit longer period of the time and then do the working interview, which we have to assess that if that person's going to be right fit for us, but we give them a person a tool. Think about these things, if it's going to be a great fit for you as well, you know, we're looking for someone to hire, but at the same time, they're looking for a place to work, a safe environment and a fun environment. And then when they hear the education, they usually click.
Yeah,
I think that's the like a hook for us, you know,
it is.
because the vulnerability comes from uncertainty, right? Because you're not sure. When you graduate from the cosmetology school, a lot of students are uncertain about how to break into the industry. And if there is a coach or mentor to depend on, that's a plus.
Yeah,
And then, like you say, we continue giving them a tools to learn something it's new, and then we never stop. One person, like you learn and unlearn, and you go relearn. If that's the strategy, we keep giving it to them.
yeah,
If they drift away from it, like, you know, I want to learn cutting for 1 year, and then you can kind of see, yeah, she is really comfortable with the cutting hair.
yeah,
And then that's the time that's like, hey, you're very talented. Do you want to focus on maybe learning new treatments? Do you want to focus on learning new techniques of the coloring? And then when we can get them like hooked for the something new to learn, and that makes them talk more to their guests. Okay, I'm learning this.
yeah,
And then clients are excited about that. Hairstylists is excited about their clear. And then you charge more, there's going to be a financial gain. And then they kind of learn, okay, I keep feeding myself something to learn each phase or journey. There is a two thing that happens. Psychologically, you produce the endorphin that craves that, like, I want to feel that again.
Mhm.
And the second, they see the number that they grow. Like each phase of that they learn, they become a better, and then they charge more. Their financial gains are greater. And that's why I think it's important. And then it's like such a great model that Lunatic Fringe create is like they monetize their growth. And then you've been working so hard. Look at this, how much you start from the beginning to the year from now. And then now, where do you think do you see yourself in the 6 months? And then most of the kids, I want to grow. And then when you get in that track, it's just like, it's almost like that's kind of where it comes the teamwork, right? Like started off with the manager and an individual, but there's other team has a different skill sets. We feed those team to share their knowledge to the new, and that person adds another, thing. And I think it is the most important thing is make people grow, and at the same time, when they grow, make them to become a teacher or the mentor to the new hires.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
100%. It's huge.
and then we know when we share what we know, we become a better teacher.
Yeah. Yeah,
And then as a teacher, we need to consistently learning, and whatever we learn, we need to be able to share. And then you become a better teacher. Like I think that model, I feel like, I think that's the model of Lunatic Fringe is like you grow, you share. You share, you become a better. When you share, the person become a better. And then you share that person to how to share what you know to the following generation. And it's just like a kind of almost like a well-oiled machine that it's constantly making ourselves better. And evolved, and then just the wheels getting bigger and bigger. And then now a lot of people are seeing that it's like, if I go to the Lunatic Fringe and I follow their curriculum, I will succeed.
Yes. Yeah, just got to follow the curriculum. I love that so much. How long is their training, if you will, before they actually can start seeing clients?
So they have an assistant program, and I'm not sure how long it goes, but like we give like once a week, it's their hair day. Even assistants, I believe they get the once a week their hair day. So 4 days a week, they work behind a chair as an assist. 4 days a week, they assist, or 3 days a week, they assist at the salon, and then they get to have a 1 day week. And that 1 day week is a crucial idea because we don't give salon clients to the new hire. They have to promote themselves to bring them in. But the sums are like from the first 3 months, that once a week of the hair day, they're booked.
Yeah.
Because they're motivated. I'm here, I want to do hair. I might suck, but I'm going to bring people and I'm going to make people happy. Because ultimately, Tina, like hairdresser, it's this very like funny creatures that sometimes we don't really have to technically so good at what we do. Sometimes you are just nice person. People love you. Because people ask Fumi, like, how do you like measure someone's a good hairdresser or not a good hairdresser? And then I tell people like, good hairdresser, that equation doesn't live me involved. It's only involve client and then hairdresser. If the client likes the hairdresser, or client likes the service, client likes the result, whatever that be, if the client's willing to come back every 6 to 8 weeks, they come back annually 7 times, excited to come see that person, equation of great hairdresser is just right there. It doesn't really matter the how, but if that person is bringing that person back into the chair and they have a great conversation, clients leave the salon feeling happy.
That's it.
I can't say that person technically, that haircut was not good. But she was happy, I mean, like I can always say that you can finesse it a little bit more, but if that person's coming back last like 4 years because she loves that individual, it's like,
Absolutely, 100%. You hit the nail on the head. And, I love the fact, Fumi, that you have your stylist taking clients right away. And
Yeah.
that's a shift that we had to make in our salons as well, too, because what happened was right out of school, if you hold them back and they're not practicing right away and taking clients, what
Yeah.
happens is they lose almost like that self-esteem, if you
Mhm.
will. And, they forget how to do consultations. They forget all their dialogue because they're so busy assisting. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges that I've seen with salon owners that we coach with Next Level is the fact that they have this like 1 year, 2 year assisting program, but I
Yeah.
don't think they're realizing that they're actually holding them back
Yeah.
from
And I
growth.
think because if you give them an opportunity to do hair, they may feel they know what they're doing, but they may feel a little vulnerable at some point.
Yeah.
But it's good the way they feel vulnerable, because every time when we feed those one day that they do hair, we always try to ask, how'd it go? How was it? It's like, and then they usually like, oh, I tried to cut the bob, or I tried to cut the layer. And then my guests really like it, my mom really liked it, but maybe like I do this, it's like, yeah, let's focus on that. Let's learn. Let's figure that out, that gray area, so that you kind of know how to articulate it. If you do this, there's a cause and effect. And let's
Yeah.
dive into that. And then we kind of put that as a part of the training so that they do it. They're slightly uncertain or vulnerable of the service that they have done. And now we recap it. And that person comes back. You can kind of professionally approach. Last time we did this, but if we do this, we can get the both of us know exactly what the results is going to be. And that this looks is going to, flatter your face framing, or this haircut is going to create the texture, the volume that you were talking about. So I kind of learned, like, since the 6 weeks from when I saw you last time till now, like I kind of learned these things so I can kind of give you a better service. And then when you see the young stylists trying to explain to the guests, they're that, because they know.
Yeah. I'm all about learn a little, do a little, and then you
Yeah.
learn a little, do a little, you retain. That's so big. I love this. Okay, so as we start to close this out, first of all, what's next for Fumi in your season? I know you're really studying the scientific ness of hair
Yeah.
right now. What else? And then what else do you want to tell salon owners or salon leaders that you feel that they need to do to take their business to the next level?
Okay, so my next chapter is going to be bringing this company. It's called Under Seven. I got this right here. It is the kind of like within the North America market. There's nothing like it. It's just the 7 different powders. It's a concentrated powder that actually change the pH level of any products that you're using, and you can do the treatment with it. And you can actually adjust the bleach alkaline strength to it, but it becomes like the bleach supplements, and then you can add it into the perm, you can add it into the straightenings, and then you can really finesse your professional services, and you can charge great amount of the money to provide a better services. So that will be my next goal, probably 2023, 2024. I'll be focusing on it to kind of share something that what I discover. And then like sharing, let's dive in, let's understand the hair, like what we do. Like if we call professional, like let's kind of understand how the hair works. Because the more we know, I think we can prevent the accidents, or we can make people's life a little bit better. And so that will be my next chapter, and how the salon owner and the salon leader can improve or pursue to better for our industry. I think as we get older, we feel we want to sit back, but I think we're the one that have to give more for the next generations. And I don't know who said, but someone said the children is our future,
Yeah.
but it's the same thing. But if we do more, I think within our industry, we can actually do so much fun stuff. And then salon owner and the salon leader, we have to lead the new next generation of the people, So what's our next step, next level is to share what we know and stay patient with the younger, like younger hairdressers, and then believe in it, believe in that what we do is a great thing, and then our industry is such a beautiful industry, and then to share that to the new hire, new future professional, or the people who work in the salon, and just kind of recap it one more time and say, hey, that our industry has probably by far, it's always people come back in the salon thinking positive. And our job is to make people look good and feel good. And if we can continue to do, and then we can captivate the audience to generate the revenue to become financially great. I don't think there's any other industry that allows to do that.
No.
Right? Yeah. And then they keep coming back.
Yep.
And then robots, people say robot is taking our industry, but it's that might be way far in the future, I feel like,
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. We will
Way
be
far.
down and then underneath of the grave when it's happening,
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, this was so good, Fumi. Any last piece of advice before you go? Thank you so much. How can people find you? What's the best way?
You can kind of chime in and then the social media. I'm on the Instagram. It's I Love Japan.
Okay.
And if anyone wants to know about the under 7, I'll be in the Chicago Midwest Beauty Show.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's a soft launch for the under 7, and then we won't be selling the actual product yet. We're going to do the international patents and then forming the business out here. So it's a soft introductions at the Midwest Beauty Show in Chicago, but we will have the YouTube ready sometime in April, and then you guys get to know more about the product. But if you guys have any questions, you can shoot me in a text, or you can shoot me in the Instagram social media.
Beautiful. I love it so much. Thank you for being on today. Any last piece of advice you want to leave with everybody that you've been wanting to tell people in the salon business?
Let's see, salon business. I think I've already said, but I think this is such a beautiful industry. I fall into this industry by accident, but more I spend the time in it, great thing is the community we have, right? Within the Paul Mitchell network, I would have never thought I'd meet that many people. It's once upon a time, MasterCard said that there's certain things are priceless, And our community, we build the relationship, and I think that's priceless. People want to have a financial gain, but you can't take that in your grave. You can't enjoy, but you can only enjoy because there's someone that you can share with, And I think in our industry, the most beautiful thing is we build the relationship, and then just don't burn it, because it doesn't feel good. You can always cherish it, because we haven't spoken to each other for so long, but we're still the same. We're trying to grow together, And then I think a relationship is the key, And then we build the relationship. So
beautifully said. I love it. Yes, do not burn those bridges. Exactly.
Yeah.
This industry might be big, but it's really small.
Yeah, I know. When you burn the bridge, everybody knows that.
Everybody knows. Fumi, thank you. You're amazing. God bless you. We'll talk.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.